This is John for the Everyday Fan Sports. Today I have the pleasure of being on the beat with Mount Carmel state champ head coach Jordan Lynch. How are you, sir?
Great, John. Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. First of all, congratulations on another title.
Yes, I've been here for 5 seasons, 4 full seasons, if you're not including that 6-game little spring season during the pandemic. But yeah, 4 full seasons, 2 state championships. It's all the credit goes to, I still have some of the same coaches that coached me on staff, such great mentors that kind of, molded me throughout the years and still, molded me to become, a better coach, better person every day. So I'm grateful for those guys.
That's a pretty good start, though. Two titles in a few years like that. So congratulations on that. Let me ask you though, when you became a coach at a young age, what was the most difficult part of that transition from player to coach?
Yeah, it's you know what? It's I've kind of been in the leadership role my whole life playing. I've always been a captain. I've always been a leader. I've always sat in kind of those staff meetings. So as a player, being a quarterback, always watching film, always being around the coaches, game planning, it was kind of an easy transition naturally to step in. So the just kind of, I would have to say, just small detailed stuff that you don't even think about is, getting the schedule out, getting the schedule out to these kids ahead of time so the parents know. It's more off the field stuff than on the field stuff. That's for sure. Like I said, I'm learning every day. One of the biggest things that I've learned here at high school, that it's not, it's not plays that win games in high school. I can draw up different things. It's not plays that win. It's the kids that win the game. When you get full bought in, full trust, full investment from the kids, that's when you really take off, especially high school.
Well, I'm sure most of the kids probably saw you play, back in the day when you were an excellent player. Did being a great player like that, did that present challenges in terms of trying, if a player below you or player you're coaching isn't quite that good, was that kind of hard for you at times, at least in the beginning?
No, I mean, I never judge a player on what I can do or what never up to kind of, my level or expectations or, I guess to my level of playing. It's not fair. Every kid's different. Every kid has a different, skill set. But the kids, I really value, whether you're starting quarterback or, you're the 6th offensive lineman, I value, those kids, and I work with those kids just as much as the starters. Those are, kind of going a different route here, but those are the kids that make Mount Carmel. It's not the starters, it's the other kids, but it's every day, every kid, every team has their own challenges, and just getting along. Like I said, I have a great staff. I have great coaches to kind of help mold me and mentor those kids, as we go. But this is definitely, when you look at Mount Carmel, man, when you give these kids ownership of the team, that's when you get the full investment of these kids, and that's when they really start taking over, and that's when you go 14-0, and that's when you win state championships. It's you look at Blaney Dowling, look at our quarterback, right? He's the best quarterback in Mount Carmel history. What he has done: 3,000 yards, 43 touchdowns, only threw 5 interceptions on the year, and this was his team. This was his team. He had full ownership of the team, and guys like him, that's only a select few, but guys like him, he came in junior year. I told him this, so I'm not afraid to say it. Junior year, he was possibly, we're talking as a staff, and I'm looking at myself like, man, we're in trouble right now at quarterback, just with what he can do. We are in trouble. And to his credit, that kid never shied away from the moment. He worked his ass off, for 2 years, and always went to his throw deep quarterback coach outside of Mount Carmel every day, and credit to them. But this kid showed up every single day, and he went from being the worst quarterback to the best quarterback in Mount Carmel history. And he didn't care what the doubters said. He didn't care that people were doubting him. This kid worked, and he had a vision, and credit to him.
That's awesome. That's a great success story. Credit to you, credit to him and the coaching staff. Now, you played at Mount Carmel. You were a great player. Did playing at Mount Carmel, so you obviously you knew about the history, you knew about the legend of Mount Carmel. Did that was that intimidating for you then to come back as a coach under all that legacy, under all that history?
Absolutely. I'm a person though that lives in the moment. Like I love the process more than the end result, right? So I never get too high, I never get too low. But I wouldn't, I stepped away from playing in 2016, I believe, and I took the job at NIU in 17, and in 18 I got offered this job. And I tell everyone I wouldn't have took the job if I wasn't 100% ready and prepared, to take over at Mount Carmel. And I've always said I want to leave things, better than what I found it. And that's hard to do here at Mount Carmel, right? Because all they did was win. All they did was win most state championships in Illinois history, second all time with wins in Illinois history. So I knew I was in for a huge challenge. And that's why, I got to give the credit to a lot of the coaches on staff were guys that coached me, and they stuck around and they trust and they believed in the process and they wanted the best for the kids too. So I got to give those guys the credit for helping me out along the way. And, so far, knock on wood, we got this thing, rolling and keeping it going from how it was in the past.
And you've won titles pretty much every level as a player and a coach. Do you do anything in your mind to like stop it from blurring altogether, like to keep each one kind of special?
John, to me, to be honest with you, like, right, I was in the Heisman run in 2012. That to me, I don't have time to sit back and think about that. Like, I have no idea that even happened. That's in the past. I don't care about that. It's I'm a person that just every single day put one foot in front of the other, and keep chipping away. And sometimes I wish I could sit back and enjoy it a little bit more than it is. But when you start sitting back and that's when you start getting complacent, and that's where you have 8-4 seasons. That's where you're not winning state championships or winning the Catholic League Blues. So I owe it to the people in the past. I owe it to alumni like yourself. I owe it to the guys in the present and to the kids that are in the building to keep working my ass off to have these kids reach their dreams and reach their goals.
And like we said, Mount Carmel has won a ton of titles, the proud history. Obviously, that helps a bit in recruiting, but is there also a kind of a downside where it might be intimidating for kids who, you might be recruiting a kid, he might go, I have no chance at Mount Carmel.
It happens. It's crazy. You say it happens all the time. We got our entry exam test coming up on Saturday, and we're calling kids, we're calling families, and and that's some of the things we get. It's kids are intimidated, by coming to Mount Carmel, this or that. And the crazy thing is like, you look at Mount Carmel. I came from St. Christina. I was the only kid from St. Christina that year to come here. It's kids like me. It's kids like Blaney Dowling, Jimmy Dacey, the Darion Dupree, right? Who's a junior, who's a 4-star, going to be an All-American next year, running back. Kids like him are very, very rare that come to Mount Carmel. It's the hard-nosed, blue-collar kids that need a chance that come to Mount Carmel, and those are the kids that are successful. And, those might not be the most talented kids in the world, but I believe in the culture here. The culture of the foundation is set from day one. You know exactly what you're getting here. Otherwise, you're not going to pan out. You're not going to work out here. And credit to the coaches again, guys like Mark Antonetti, that I believe was around your age or your class.
I believe he was either in my class or he was within a year of me, if not my class.
Right. Mark Antonetti, Bill Nolan, Dave Lenti. Those are the guys that, were fortunate that I had, stay around on staff and really help me and, help these kids mold it to, what this place is about. So it's, everyone thinks of Mount Carmel, we get nothing but 5-star recruits. No, we get average working kids that work their ass off every day, that you really get the best out of the kid because of our approach and their work ethic.
And you touched a little bit about the spirit. What do you think makes Mount Carmel, as a school, as a sports program, as a football team, what makes it special?
the camaraderie, the family atmosphere. It's everyone always talks about that, right? So it kind of can get, a little cliche and everything, but you really, it's just something. It's almost hard to describe. When you're at Mount Carmel, you feel it, you smell it. It's in the building. It's we genuinely have coaches, we genuinely have mentors, teachers, from our president, our principal, all the way down to myself, like, that genuinely care about the kid, genuinely care about the family. Where, we have 550 all boys that go to Mount Carmel. Nobody slips through the cracks here. We check on them daily. We check up on their grades. We know exactly what's happening. And, obviously, with this day and age, we'd like to have 1,000 kids in the building for sure, but we are at a very healthy 550 all boys, and no one slips through the cracks. So we, it's an investment in Mount Carmel, paying tuition being 13,000 a year, but it's worth every penny with our counselors, with our leadership, with what we do athletically, academically, and how we follow up on these kids for 4 years.
And how everyone stays in touch afterwards. I mean, I know when I asked you for this interview, within like minutes, you immediately said anything for a brother of Mount Carmel. And I sincerely appreciate it. And I feel the same way. I mean, I'm 40 years removed from Mount Carmel, and I still feel a major part of the institution there.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I appreciate you having me, but it's a credit to what Mount Carmel has done for guys like you that went there, guys like me, why we always come back, why we always wear the sweatshirt, why we always talk about it. It's someone along the way was kind of touched at Mount Carmel, and that's, I know that's the reason why I came back here. It's I love this place. I love this place. My parents still go to every single game. Even when I wasn't, even when I was playing, they would come back here. So I know what they've done to my parents, how much they love it. My older brother's a Brother Rice grad, and you swear he went to Mount Carmel. He wishes to this day he's went to Mount Carmel. So it's it even impacted, his life. So
one last question. So now with the state title behind you, you're immediately looking into next season. Like, what does your daily or weekly kind of routine look like right now?
Yeah, so right now it's kind of a busy period. The kids that are seniors, our 2023 kids that are seniors, we got tons of colleges stopping in, from now until February or so. Then it'll kind of be a dead period. Then it's spring recruiting. So my job is to find these seniors that want to play football a home at the college level. And as long as they took care of grades, did their part in the classroom, everyone that wants to play football will play football at the next level, whether it's Division I, Division II, or Division III. And my job is to get them the most money off in college. That's what I told their families that I'll work for. And that's the ultimate goal for me, is when they come here and they take care of business, that, I'll get them as much money and really stick my neck out for them to get them a scholarship at the end of the day. So that's kind of eating up most of my time now.
Well, Coach, I know you're busy. I really appreciate your time. I congratulate you on the title, on the titles, plural. And I'd like to come back and visit you. Actually, I'd love to come down for a practice, next season, man. It would be fantastic. And we'll do a little bit more coverage on you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You have my number. You shoot me a text, send me whatever you need to send, and we'll get it taken care of. But appreciate you having me.
Thank you, Coach. You have a fantastic day. I appreciate it.
All right, you too, John. Take care.
Thanks.